circle of the Nityas represent, which is over here, I think, if I can, yeah. This is like the whole circle, the whole, as we saw all the tithis and, how it was mapping. So all of this, the whole full circle represent 21,600 breaths of a human being, which takes a full day and night. And the Nityas are the Kal Chakra. They are the wheel of time. So this is a very powerful link. Like I said, it is not just about the sun and the moon, but it goes much deeper, because we are then talking about the tithi, and then we are talking about the sounds, we are talking of the language, Sanskrit, we are talking about the signification of each of these Nitya Devis. Um, okay. And each of these Nitya Devis are modifications of Lalita with her three gunas, her five elements of various ether, air, water, and earth. And they all reside in the Kal Chakra, right? Which is nothing but the Shri Chakra, the Tithi Chakra, or the wheel of time, which is constantly churning. So you see, it is all getting linked into this, whether it is a yantra or it is extremely, it is not just about the astronomy. It is not just looking up in the sky and say, hey, this is the my constellation, this is my moon rashi. It is also about connecting the dots in terms of the deity and in terms of what the karma it carries, and the ultimately, when all everything is down and out, what is the specifics that will help you to overcome some of the issues. So we won't go too much. So again, this we can go many, much more in detail, but of course, I don't want to go too much. But I've put this chakra because this is the Sri Yantra, and how the Tripura Sundari is one of the main presiding deity. I mean, everything is all about her. All the variations. She's like the Adi Shakti, and so are all of them are forms of her. And depending on what tithi you are born, what nakshatra you are born, because tithi and nakshatra are similar in terms of their, feel, and so in terms of even the degrees. So all of them are literally getting connected with all the chakras in our body, all the nadis in the body. And if there is a blocked chakra, that can help you to kind of, force or clear the blocks. Anyway, so again, there is more stuff on how Lord Shiva says about the center of the world is Meru and the seven oceans beyond it. And all of this is, we are all caught up in this particular Kal Chakra, which is the wheel of time. Now, what are these yogas? Okay, they are 27 in number. And so they are all getting mapped to the nakshatras. And like I said earlier, they are all, each of the nakshatras have a four pada. So let's look at the simple. I won't go do an example. Maybe when once we actually begin, I can go through, we can take some chart examples specifically about the calculation. But here, the duration of each of the yoga is nothing but the longitude of the sun and the moon plus Pushya Nakshatra. Okay, now you can well say Pushya is the exaltation of, Brahaspati. His deity is Brahaspati. Brahaspati is the actual giver of life for us. There are many explanations to that. So that is the reason why we are 93.20. Now, for those of you who have no idea what 93.20 is, here is the table for the calculation and made it very, very simple. So you can, all of these are the yoga on the left and the nakshatras are here. So we begin with Pushya. As you can see, Pada 1, it's 93. So 3 degrees 20 minutes. So 93 degrees 20 minutes to 96 degrees 40 minutes. And similarly, 96 to 100, and all of them carry on. Everybody getting this? Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
difficult. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's easy. So each of these will go. Now, these are the static Nitya yogas, okay? Now, what do I mean by static? Because they remain more or less the same, okay? They begin with Pushya, but there is another classification which begins with from Ashwini. But again, we won't go into that because we can have a look at it and how it works, but for our, forging our studies, we will continue with that, continue with the static one. Okay, so each of these have a particular, you know logic and reason and karma and a kind of a flavor, very specific flavor attached to it. Okay. Now, this is where it is the yogam or the yoga is it works is what works but does not work for you. So basically, it helps in overcoming a lot of the ailments. Okay, lot of the afflictions it helps you overcoming because it is mapped into the nakshatra, and the nakshatra that it maps into, the we get who which nakshatra, who's the deity for it, who's the devata for that nakshatra, who's the planet ruling that, and then we get a very, very intimate thing about that. What is it carrying, what does it want? Okay. So um the yoga graha is one of the most important. It is like the saptamatrika. So that means that graha which maps into that particular nakshatra, okay, and the ruler of that particular nakshatra is called the yoga graha, and it is very important because it is like your equivalent to seven matrikas, seven mothers. So if you something happens to you, something terrible, negative, something problematic, um, then you know that there is at least one mother who will save you. And that's that yoga graha. Okay? Okay. So now here, even the Surya Siddhanta, and there are mentions about it, about this yoga. So then again, we are talking about why is it important to study this? Because ancient texts even talk about the yoga. They talk about the Vyatipata and Vaidriti, one of the worst yogas, where the sun and the moon are, if you look at it, they are very close by, but they are separated, equidistant from the summer solstices. They are kind of or autumnal. So there is a particular yoga is like a combination, okay? When the sun and the moon are at a certain combination, then what is the effect it will have on your life? What is the karmic script it is carrying, which is very specific? And so it is so specific that the ancient, astronomers were scared when there was a particular, particular sun and moon going on, combination going on, or yoga going on, when there was Vyatipata and Vaidriti. So you can see that these are all equidistant. And this is when this happens, then you land up into this Vyatipata and Vaidriti. Now, for those of you, if you go and see some of the lives of people who are born in Vyatipata and Vaidriti, it is going to be full of turbulence, full of problems. There is um, if there's somebody has Tithi Pravesh, right, which is a solar lunar chart, which changes, it's like the birthday chart, which changes year by year. If it falls in Vyatipata and Vaidriti, because remember, in the Tithi chakra, Tithi chart, which we generate every year, the tithi never changes. The moon can change the nakshatra of it. It can go back and forth, but that also has a significance. And the yoga can also change, but the tithi will never change, right? So if you have encountered Vyatipata or Vaidriti, or maybe your yoga is not so close by, so there is going to be, that year is going to be a little bit problematic. Yeah. And so when the sun and moon are upon opposite sides of either solstice, then the Vyatipata results and the sum of longitudinals being half circle. And
Sorry,
it,
Sonal. May I ask a
Pata,
question?
yes, go on.
So, where do you find mention this Vyati Pata and Vaidriti when you have a Panchanga on the Titi Pravesh? Because you have
Yes,
a
yes, of course, of course.
all right. There is because I never come across this. Only Shubha. So this is completely new. Okay.
Yeah, of course. You have to learn to look at the Panchang every day.
Mm-hmm. All
You're
right.
Jyotishis. How can
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
ignore it?
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
So is also if, for example, that day falls in one of these two yoga,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to be a little bit difficult.
Of course.
All right.
Definitely.
Okay.
Because
Mm-hmm.
the term
Yeah.
pata comes from Sanskrit patana. Patana meaning someone who's like fallen. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
pata in the present context literally means falling. So
Mm-hmm.
fault, transgression, calamity. So
Okay.
the people were very scared of these particular junctures when the sun and the moon were at equal longitudinal degrees on the either side of the solstices or equinoxes. So there was this fear, and it wasn't without reason.
Mm-hmm.
So there were, and these are the danger points in her revolution, and where the sun herself was unable to fall into the jaws or sun or the moon were more inclined to fall into the jaws of Rahu. So you see, that is an issue. And so this is what, and these are not alone. These two are the one of the worst ones, but there are others as well. So this, first we have to identify what the problem is. We can't live in a life where everything is beautiful, because it is not. It clearly is not. So with knowledge, you can deconstruct the worst calamity, as long as you have the knowledge and keep a calm mind and keep walking. Even if you're in the middle of a war, if you keep walking, well, hopefully not not in the direction of the enemy, but maybe sometimes that helps too, provided you're well equipped. But if you keep walking, then somewhere along things will, enlightenment can happen through knowledge of some kind, which will give you a big clue to avert the disaster. And this is why even there is so much of mention of Vyatipata and Vaidriti. So these are, so yoga is not to be taken lightly. It is a very important concept. It is a very important, and it lays the foundation of actual yoga in your chart, in your kundali. And we haven't even been into your chart yet. And yet we are getting this huge mountain of information about the yoga. Is everybody understanding this? Yeah. So, um, so here we are. We'll stop here, but this is a like a little thing about the classification. Three major classifications: Uttama Nama Yoga, Madhyama Nama Yoga, and Avayoga Nama Yoga. Right? So now, please note, don't go into a meltdown and a panic if you are in this Nama Yoga, please.
Yes,
Okay? Just calm down because it is many nuances we have to go through. Sometimes we we can overcome some of the issues, okay? Our faith and karma is a big healer, and time is a big healer, provided you're going in the right direction. Okay? So the Uttama Yoga, Nama Yoga, basically in previous life, these people have done some great deeds. So whatever happens to them, okay, in this life, most adverse circumstances they may have been born in, they will overcome it. Okay? They will overcome, they will rise up in their lives. And this particular, if you're born in the Uttama Nama Yoga, your life is all about um, last life's punya, which is carrying you through. Everybody getting this? Yes. So,
yes,
and so does that mean like so the Preeti Saubhagyam is somebody who's very auspicious, Shobana, very bright, Vriddhi, it's about increase, because each of these have a Sanskrit meaning. They are very deep. Siddhi, you know, Siddhi, it's like Siddhi Ganesh, someone who makes the knowledge happen for you. Shivam, Siddham, Shubha, and Shubram. So all of these are very auspicious for, you know, somewhere along you have done something good in previous life. Then we come to the Madhyama Yoga. They are kind of touch and go, you know, so so. If the yogi planet is good, then good results will ensue for them, you know, because each of these, remember, are getting mapped to a particular nakshatra as well. So Ayushman, Sukarmam, Dhriti, Dhruva, Harshana, Vajra, Variyam, Sadhyam, Mahendra or Indra. So some of them are also it's influence from the names like Ayushman, Sukarma. So maybe in some of the softwares you will find Sukarma, but Sukarmam is South Indian pronunciation. Everybody getting this, yeah?
What do you mean, Sunan, by if the yogi planet is good? If it's a benefic or if it's in good dignity?
Yes, yes. I do mean that. If it is, we will see many examples. Don't worry, Isabel.
Okay.
We have
But it
a
could be Jupiter at the 8th and 11th floor. So is it really good?
yes, of course.
Okay.
You know, depends on where it is placed. If it is placed in a nice Rashi, you know, auspicious Rashi, then definitely whom is it with? You know, superb.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So then that it'll all be depend on the those results will ensue. So these people through their hard work, through you know, they will need some kind of luck and you know some kind of people to prop them up to be able to move forward. Okay, so they, even though if they are born in adverse circumstances, it is not that they will remain there, they will come up in life. But the Avayoga, Nama Yoga, which is Vishukhamba, Atiganda, Sula, or Shula, sorry, I beg your pardon, Shula, Ganda, or Gandam, Vyagrata, Vyatipata, Parigha, or Parigham, Brahma, and Vaidriti. So these have an issue because if you have risen very much high in life and if you have these, then at some point, let's say you are in the Avayoga Yoga Dasha, that particular Graha Dasha, then you will come crashing down. And the higher you go, the worst is the fall. So you have to be very careful, okay? But like I
So
said, does that mean you'll remain at the bottom forever? No, I'm not saying that. But you have to be aware of what is going to, what it is carrying, because they are also carrying a particular karma, and we will see it in great depth what it means.
it's
That
because
is,
of past life, like Papa, like Punya is for the Uttama, so for the Avayoga must be not really good karma.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Well,
So
like
maybe they
everything.
have offended somebody or offended a deity, done something wrong, and so they now need to, they will reap that karma.
Mm.
They will bring it to the fore in this lifetime, and it will be painful. But is it going to be forever? No, it's not like that. It's not going to be throughout.
It's
But,
not all lifelong. It's not all lifelong.
well, we like to believe it's not for lifelong,
Ah, all
okay?
right.
Yeah. We don't want to say, oh, it's going to be for lifelong, you're forever. It doesn't work like that, you know? Like I said, time is one of the best healers ever. Anyway, guys, so we stop here, okay? Is this interesting?
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.